Time now for our review of the French press, for which I'm joined by Kyle Brown. Hello to you, Kyle. Starting off with a spot of bother for Nicolas Sarkozy.
That's right, to say the least. Libération is among the papers, and many papers covering this story. Nicolas Sarkozy, former president, being really more than in a spot of bother. Now he's under formal investigation, and that's for having exploited France's wealthiest woman, Bettencourt. He's accused of having basically somehow, convinced, cajoled, gotten some money out of her for the 2007 election campaign. And it's being covered across the board, across the papers. And in Libération, we see it on the front page, and they say it's, once again, a return to l'affaire Bettencourt, as it's known here.
Okay, it did come in late last night, that news, but Le Parisien managed to get it on their front for that.
That's right. It came in late, and some of the papers, well, they just managed to get it on the front pages. We'll talk about another paper that didn't quite do it. We'll look to Hollande as another leader that's facing a bit of trouble. But yes, we see there Parisien. They went into great detail to chronicle the dates, to look at the key characters in this affair. And we see there that, back in 2007, right from then, there were a number of key characters who were playing a role in the alleged withdrawals of funds from numerous bank accounts owned by Bettencourt. And now in this paper, we also see, if we can turn to the image of the key dates there and the key people, there we have the shock above all. That's the first impact that the papers are going large on, just the entourage surrounding Sarkozy and the impact that it's making on everyone around him. But we also read of just how it's been unfolding over the period of 6-7 years now, where Sarkozy is now being increasingly implicated in the Bettencourt affair.
Meanwhile, the right-of-centre paper, Le Figaro, has some bad news for Sarkozy's election rival, Hollande.
So yes, as we see, we go from the woes of one former leader to the worries of the current leader, François Hollande. And, he attempted to introduce, as we all know, the 75% tax on the country's wealthy. Didn't quite work. It was ruled as unconstitutional. But it was a major plank in his election campaign. And now the Le Figaro is basically saying, not only was that a headache, but the tax that you still want to introduce, maximum allowed now of 66.6%, that too is something that really the country can do without. And it goes on, it really devotes quite a bit of space to, what it calls the kind of bonkers socialist tax policy. And it says that, this is Fiscal Bulimia, basically. And I suppose that's a French translation. We could, translate it as either gorging or literally bulimia. But they're saying how many more doctors will flee, how many high-paid lawyers will flee the country because of this, very high tax regime.
Okay, moving on to something completely different, and a major train robbery in France.
Yes, now this goes back to last weekend, and the story of a number of youths who stormed trains in the outside of Paris in the dead of night, and they lobbed what do you call those bombs?
Tear gas.
Yeah, the tear gas bombs. That's it. And they basically stormed the place, robbed dozens of people. Now today we have on the front page of a couple of the papers, including 20 Minutes there, of the Interior Minister saying, okay, right, we're going to have to do something about this, including possibly extending police presence in public transportation.
Okay, Carl, that's all we have time for. Thanks very much for that look through the French press.
You're welcome.
Do stay with us. More news coming up very shortly.